Welcome back. This is Morning Express. This is the day where the BBI report is being launched at the Bomas of Kenya. Michael Gitunga is on standby, but also in Mombasa we have our Tobias Chanji who is on standby just to give us the latest, the mood on the streets, the views of the people. Just let us know what is happening in terms of the understanding of what the BBI report holds for us. And far from that, we have our special guest, Honorable Mutambo, Joe Mutambo, former Mwingi Central Member of Parliament, as well as Ambrose Weda. And we did lose them at some point owing to some technical hitch, but of course we have them back. So my question to them is the same as what I'm asking you on Twitter. What do you make of the expanded executive, and is that the solution to our election problems? I'll start with you, Mr. Weda.
Thank you so much. I think the expanded executive is not a solution to our problems. It is actually, it will sink us economically. And when you sink economically, the problems increase. Part of the reason why we fight, because you want your community to be president, is so that you eat. It is the eating, it is the plundering of the economic resources that make people violent. They sit violently. So that if we move from almost 800 billion shillings being used to pay salaries and so the economy shrinks and we get more into misery. And when we get more into misery, issues and problems increase. Look at it, in 2002, we didn't have any violence. Kibaki took it all. In other years, it has been whatever. The problem in 2007 was basically bungling up the elections. It will just cool part of it that bigwigs like Honorable Raila, Mudavadi are not loitering out. They have a seat in parliament. But looking at it and the coming generation, I think it is a dangerous trend, if you ask me. It is not good for the country. It would have been good if we just allowed them to come in, you contest and then you come in. But adding prime minister, deputy prime minister, and their offices, the cost is very, very society.
Yes, I do agree with you, Mr. Wade. It is coming out of the taxpayers' pockets. Honorable Mutambo, what's your take on that?
I have been a crusader for bloated wage bill in our country, and I join Weda in agreeing that expanding the executive will not solve our problem. We need to understand that election is a duality. We'll have to another side opposing. So assume that we have a clique of peoples, call them Raila, Mudavadi, Kalonzo, and whoever on this other side. We'll also have Mutua or Ngilu and Mudavadi, Wetangula, and another person on this other side. What we are trying to do, we are going now to divide the communities into middle, because there will be two opposing sides from every community, and everybody, there is no one who will let it go. If Mutua or Kivutha Kibwana want to be the prime minister of this country, and Kalonzo want to be the prime minister of this country, there will be division in Ukambani. So we are dividing the communities. If Mudavadi wanted to be the prime minister or the deputy president of this country, and Wetangula want to be the deputy president of this country, there will be division in Western. If Weda wanted to be the deputy president and Raila want to be the deputy president, there will be division in Nyanza. Likewise, if Matiang'i wanted to be deputy president and Simbarati wanted to be the deputy president, there will be division in Kisii, Nyanza. So we are dividing the communities. Now we are going to start dividing the communities instead of dividing the nation. And it is very wise to divide the communities other than the nation. And my take is this. The opposing side the losing side will always come back to ask for their right. And they will say, no, you never lost the election, the other team lost, so the fight will still be there. We will not solve the problem. The problem is in the handling of the election itself. It is not how many seats you bring. You can bring even 42 seats in that executive. It will still have an opposing side. You cannot tell me that there will be nobody who will oppose Mutambo being a member of parliament in Mwingi, and they will not fight. We saw fight in by-elections, and people died. People vying for their positions, not the nation, not the executive. The executive is formed by different people with different opinion, and we should accept to have a different opinion. The problem I'm having with this proposal is that also the terminology in the proposed constitutional change. When you say the ministers may come from parliament, I want to tell Kenyans to be very careful, because that's what may. The president can pick only one minister, and they say the constitution says may come from the parliament, and then the rest from outside. It is not explicit. We need to look at the terminology and what is bringing on to the Kenyans. I want to tell people that if we pass this document the way it is without amending it, Unga will go to 300 shillings or 400 shillings. Sukari will go for 500 shillings, because you have to get money to fund all these offices we are creating today. So it is the common man who will fund for it. We've been struggling with paying at least a minimum of 15%. If we say that 5% is minimum, where are we going to get it from? I have no problem with the counties getting money. We also have to know who will be collecting monies from the counties. I have not seen the government saying that, okay, we'll give you 50% of revenue. We are going to give you 50%, but who is going to collect that money? Yes. Counties are collecting money and squandering it at the same time. So there's a lot of loopholes which need
to be ironed out. Yeah, there's so many issues that need to be ironed out, and I think the general consensus is that that expanded executive won't bode well to the Kenyan economy. Now, thank you so much, Mr. Weda. Canon Ambrose Weda is regularly on the show, as well as Honorable Joe Mutambo, former Mwingi Central Member of Parliament. Thank you for being a part of the show, and I do understand that Mr. Weda wants to rush to the Bomas of Kenya and be a part of the action, so we shall be releasing you this morning to go and catch up, and perhaps we shall have more sentiments next Monday that are, of course, bright and more open because of what you witnessed firsthand. But we're going to cross over to Mombasa and get the sentiments of the locals there. Tobias Chanji has been in the streets since early in the morning, trying to catch up with the residents and find out what they feel about the launch of the BBI. So over to you, Tobias.
A very good morning once again, Trix. We are on the Digo Road here in Mombasa. Perfect weather to just pick the minds of people who are going by with their daily chores. But what is clear is that the government, or rather the proponents of the BBI, will still have a hard task explaining to the citizens about the BBIs and maybe its benefits. But just allow me to speak to some of the locals to just give us their views. Tuanze na majina yako, tuelezee kama umesoma ripoti hii ya BBI na labda maoni yako ni yapi?
Kwa jina naitwa Shume Dennis, na ripoti ya BBI nimeisoma na nimeielewa. Upande wangu mimi kama kijana, nataka niseme ya kwamba ripoti hii ya BBI ni ripoti ambayo inalenga kufaidi wanasiasa. Sababu gani? Unapoangalia ile push ambao wanasukuma, wanazungumzia zaidi kuhusu vyeo, vile watakavyogawanya mamlaka, mambo ya ku-expand executive, mambo ya kuchagua governor awe na running mate from the opposite gender, mambo na ku-expand National Assembly.
Unaona hiyo opposite gender si nzuri?
Ni mzuri, lakini mechanisms ambao wamezitumia ni za kisiasa. That's why mimi kama mimi ninataka nisimame kidete niseme hii BBI mimi siungi mkono, manake haitoi suluhisho kwa wananchi wa kawaida. Mfano, haijatuambia kama mambo ya wizi wa pesa ambao unafanyika kila mwaka iko na mechanisms gani za kukaba mambo kama yale. Jambo la pili, ile help
wamesema itachukua miaka miwili tu kwa kesi kutamatishwa.
Hii ni Kenya na tumeona mambo mengi hapa Kenya yakifanyika. Hiyo ni njia moja hapo ya kuvuta wananchi karibu, lakini ukweli ni kwamba mambo haya yalikuweko na yamekuweko na mpaka saizi bado tunayaona. Kwa hivyo jambo la pili, sisi ni watu ambao tunataka unga ushuke bei, sukari ishuke bei, vile vitu vya wananchi wa kawaida, lakini pale ndani ya BBI hakuja kuwa captured vitu kama hivyo. Tunaona tu ni mambo na political positions ndo zinapigiwa drum ya hali ya juu. Kwa hivyo mimi kama mimi nasema no to BBI, and I lobby all the youth. I have interconnections with them, niwaambie no to BBI. Wale wa mama wako kule mashinani ambao bado hii BBI haijafika kule, tutahakikisha tumefika kule, tuambie no to BBI. Hii BBI ni ya kusaidia tu Raila Amolo Odinga na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Kwa hivyo mimi shukrani bwana Chanji.
Shukrani kabisa. Wacha nizungumza na mwingine. Mwenzako amezungumzia masuala ya Simba hayako katika BBI. Tuanze na majina yako, naona hapa unauza mayai. Tuanze na majina yako na utoe hisia yako.
Mimi kwa majina yangu naitwa Vincent Yasha. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Mombasa.
Usiogope mjomba, unaangalia tu kamera pale alafu
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Vincent Yasha. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Mombasa. Na mimi maoni yangu nitasema hivi. BBI mimi nimeisoma, nimeielewa. Sioni mahali ambapo kuna kikwazo kibaya. BBI ni jambo ambalo litaunganisha Wakenya katika election, itaunganisha Wakenya, na zile ghasia ambazo tumekuwa tukishuhudia kuanzia mwaka wa 2007 hatutaziona, kwa sababu mara mingi sana viongozi huwa wanatafuta hizi ghasia kupitia wananchi. Sasa mimi furaha yangu najua kwamba ghasia katika hii nchi ya Kenya haitakuweko tena, na naambia rais wangu kuwa aendelee hivyo hivyo kuunganisha Wakenya na kuwe mstari wa mbele sana kufanya hilo jambo. Na kwa machache ninajua kuwa BBI ukiangalia katika cabinet yetu ambayo inaongelea kwa sahihi mabadiliko ya BBI hiyo, naona kuwa cabinet mawaziri wamechaguliwa katika cabinet yetu ya nchi ya Kenya. Na ninajua kuwa
unamaanisha mawaziri wamechaguliwa kutoka bunge, watakuwa wanachaguliwa kutoka bungeni?
Mawaziri watakuwa wanachaguliwa kutoka bungeni ambao hawatakuwa na mshahara mara mbili. Hivyo ndio nimeelewa hiyo BBI. Asanteni.
Shukuru kabisa. Wakati naongea na mwenzako mwingine pia pale labda wa mwisho, uendelea kunichambulia mayai hapo, nitakula yai moja kisha kabla niondoke. Tuanze na majina yako, naomba kidogo uinue maski yako. Tuanze na majina yako na ueleze hisia zako kuhusiana na ripoti hii ya BBI.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Patrick Sunguti, mkazi hapa Likoni. Maoni yangu kuhusu BBI si mbaya walivyofanya, lakini upande niliona tu kidogo kungefaa marekebisho ni upande wa masenate, ile kuongeza ile idadi ya hiyo namba na kulingana na uchumi wa Kenya vile umekaa, hiyo idadi wangezidi kuipunguza ndio uchumi uweze pia kuimarika hapa. Na pia kuhusiana na upande wa wa kiuchumi, kuna pale ambapo kidogo hawajaguzia mambo ya hao wafisadi. Wafisadi uko juu sana hapa Kenya, na hata mtu anaposhikwa anapelekwa kotini inakuwa ni mambo tu ya anatoa bond na mambo inaisha hivyo hivyo. Hakuna mali kidogo wanaguzia kuhusu hao watu wafisadi. Na upande wa viwanda vyetu Kenya vyote vimefifia. Hii muda wote wa miaka 10 hatujaona kiwanda yote ambayo imefufuliwa, na hawajaguzia kuhusu mambo ya viwanda na hali ya kazi ya uchumi wa nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Shukrani kabisa mjomba. Well, there you have it, divergent views from the residents of Mombasa County concerning the BBIs. As you've heard, we've seen the proponents and opponents of the same BBI report, and those that have read and also those that haven't read this report. And as I've said earlier, the government still has a long way to educating the citizen about what is in the BBI, or rather what is the contents of the BBI. Back to you in studio.
Okay, thank you very much, Tobias Chanji, for that report. Remember, you can also give your views just as those residents of Mombasa have given their views, and tell us what you think about the expanded executive, Amatrix Ingado and Michael G. Gitonga. And back to the action where ground zero of this whole matter is the Bomas of Kenya. Jeff Kirui is on the ground. Over to you, Jeff. What do you have for us?
Well, thank you very much. This is the auditorium, and this is where the action will be today for the much awaited BBI launch by President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake brother, ODM leader Raila Odinga. Maybe just to give you a sneak peek of what is expected to happen today, here are the main function. Here where I'm standing is where members of parliament will be seated. Senators will be seated on this side of the auditorium. The main entrance for the members will be on this side. And of course, the president is expected at 9:30. He will be making his way here. At the sitting arrangement here has been organized in such a way that On the president's right side will be the BBI steering committee as well as the ambassadors. On his left side, those will be the governors from the 47 counties who will be expected to be here. At the center is where members of parliament as well as deputy governors and senators will also be seated. This venue will only be accommodating the VVIPs only. Outside is where the members of the public will get an opportunity to follow the proceedings from the big screens which have been mounted there. But inside here, what is going to happen actually as part of the program is that by 9:30 the head of state will be making his way here, and then thereafter there will be speeches from various leaders, perhaps borrowing from what happened in the first launch in November 2019. We'll be expecting the various leaders from political parties to also make their speeches regarding this report. And then from there, now the High Representative for Infrastructure Development in Africa and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will be making his speech. Thereafter inviting the Deputy President Dr. William Ruto to make his statement. And from there, the Deputy President will invite the President to make his remarks, and then perhaps that will mark the end of this much-awaited launch. And of course, this being the report which has been awaited.
We have lost Jeff's signal, but of course, remember, our crew is on the ground at the Bomas of Kenya, and they shall be keeping us updated. A very elaborate program right there that he has read out to us, and he shall be giving us more. The BBI report has a lot for the youth, for devolved units. We have a lot that has been set out for the executive, that expanded executive that is, of course, meant to elicit a lot of debate, already eliciting a lot of debate online and, of course, in various circles. Tobias Chanji earlier on did speak to the need for more people to have this report availed to them so that they can actually read, understand, and make informed decision as far as the BBI report is concerned. But of course, to give you more details on this, just hours to the launch of the validated version of the BBI report at the Bomas of Kenya, campaigns for the against the document continue. Deputy President William Ruto and his allies are now calling for inclusivity in the BBI debate. Other leaders, including Chama cha Mashinani Party leader Isaac Ruto and Cherangani MP Joshua Kutunyi, have defended said document.
Just days after the launch of the BBI report, politicians are out to drum up support for their stand on the document. Those backing the report say it addresses key issues.
We are satisfied with the progress made on anchoring devolution and strengthening and protecting devolution through fair allocation of resources. 35% is fair.
Na mimi nashukuru kwa sasa kwamba nafasi ya kiongozi wa upinzani imepatikana. Yule anaye nguvu ya kiwango cha urais. Kwa hivyo tunaona demokrasia ikiregeshwa tena katika taifa la Kenya.
Deputy President William Ruto, who was in Matungu, Kakamega County, has rubbished popular claims that the BBI train is unstoppable.
Those who are telling us nobody can stop reggae, whether you like it or not, musipende, mupende, musipende, I want to request them to give us a break.
The Deputy President and his allies are calling for inclusivity in the BBI debate.
I want to request on behalf of many Kenyans that we have a decent conversation that is people-centered, that is all-inclusive.
This conversation about BBI must be all-inclusive. It must include both leaders and the people.
Tukilida kazi ya wangwana na wakubwa pale juu, pia ni vizuri tuchunge wale wengi ambao wako hii Kenya.
Sasa hii document imetolewa. We should treat it as a draft. And now we have a proper national conversation and total inclusion.
Persons with disabilities say, unlike the 2010 constitution, the BBI has sidelined them.
Persons with disabilities are supporting BBI only if BBI is going to come clear on where are the spaces for persons with disabilities.
At least we have one cabinet minister, 2 deputy ministers, 3 principal secretaries, to serve in the government.
Some religious leaders are yet to take a stand on the BBI. For now, they say they will back it only if it offers the best for the country.
This is a conversation we will begin to engage in the weeks to come. The beauty is that Kenyans are being reminded to read it, and as we read it, now we can make informed decisions.
We refrain from commenting on the contents of the just released BBI report because we have already activated and engaged our internal and external consultative processes to carefully study the BBI report.
The BBI debate is one that will shape the country's politics for a while. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Now, a running theme this morning is the need for everyone to be able to read the BBI report, understand it, and draw their own conclusion, not as opposed to basing their conclusions on what politicians and leaders are saying. So if you want to get one of the reports, you can. It will set you back 60 shillings. It's in the Standard newspaper. Go get yourself one and read it for yourself. And as we try to get an understanding of what the situation out there feeling as far as the BBI report on the ground is, we are joined by Kevin Ogutu, who is our man on the ground in Kisumu. Over to you, Kevin. What is the mood as far as the BBI report is concerned over where you are?
Well, a very good morning, Trix. I'm right here at Kondele roundabout in Kisumu town. Quite a chilly morning right now in Kisumu. And this, the launch of the BBI that's happening today at the Bomas of Kenya is coming just days after President Uhuru Kenyatta, together with ODM leader Raila Odinga, were in this town, and this town was it was quite really an excited atmosphere right here in Kisumu, because we had massive crowds really following that motorcade of the president. And talking about the mood, from what transpired here, it is quite evident that a majority of the residents here are clearly in support over this, the BBI report that is yet to be launched today at the Bomas of Kenya. But of course, myself together with my colleague Dan, we will be moving around to talk to some of the residents here to just get their perspective. I can see there is one here. Welcome to KTN News, bro. Karibu kwenye KTN News. We are talking about a BBI report that is being launched today. Ripoti ya BBI inawasilishwa rasmi. Wewe kama mwenyeji wa Kisumu, labda tueleze kutoka kwa, labda umesoma ama umearifiwa yale ambayo yapo katika ripoti hiyo, una yapi ya kusema kuhusiana na ripoti yenyewe ya BBI? Kwanza na majina.
Okay, mimi kwa majina naitwa Charles Obunga. Sijaenda ndani sana ya BBI, ila vitu ambavyo nasikia ziko ndani ya BBI ni vitu ambazo tukizingatia vizuri, nafikiria hapa mbeleni tunaweza faidika kama wana Kenya.
Labda tuelezee kwa kifupi yale ambayo umeelewa kuhusiana na ripoti ya BBI. Kumbuka rais mwenyewe alitueleza kwamba kuna yale ambayo kila kitu ambacho kiko hapo ni kwa manufaa ya Wakenya. Wewe unakumbuka nini kuhusiana na yale ambayo umesikia BBI inamaanisha?
Okay, mimi kwangu mwenyewe sitaki niende ndani ambaye niende mbali sana. Kwa vile nilisema mwanzo sijaingia ndani ya BBI sana, ila siku nyingine nitakuwa na mambo ya kusema juu ya BBI.
Na kufikia sasa unaisupport ama labda haujakuwa na msimamo kuhusiana na labda kama unaisupport ama hauisupport?
Okay, kwangu mwenyewe kama Ubunga naweza sema na support BBI, japokuwa sijaisoma kwa ndani, na nitaisupport kwa sababu BBI.
Well, thank you so much. Trix, that's one of the residents of Kisumu. Let's also get opinion from what it means for this other resident of Kisumu. Let's start by your name and then tell us, first of all, if at all you've read the BBI report or you've not read it.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Joshua Wena. Mimi ndio mwenyekiti ya bunge la wananchi Kisumu County. Na mimi niko na jambo kuhusu mambo ya BBI. Kwa sababu BBI tunajua ya kwamba ni mambo ya kuunganisha Kenya. Ni Building Bridges Initiative. Tena tulikuwa tumeona kama rais wa Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta na former Prime Minister Raila Odinga waliungana pamoja ili walete wa Kenya pamoja. Na jambo langu la kwanza, tulisikia kama tayari komiti wametoa sasa njia ambayo inafaa wa Kenya wafuate kwa mambo ya BBI. Na leo wanaenda kuteka kwa launch huko Bomas of Kenya. Na sisi tujaenda huko. Na maoni yetu kama wana Kenya, mimi Kwa upande moja naweza unga mkono na kuna upande zingine siwezi unga mkono. Kama upande wa counties tumeona kama wamefanya mzuri, pesa itakuza mpaka mashinani. Sasa watatoka ile pesa kwa 15% to 35%. Hiyo tunajua hiyo ni mzuri. Hata hiyo inamaanisha wale MCS wote ambao watakuwa hapa chini watapata pesa ya kufanya kazi. Lakini kwa upande ya executive, expansion of executive, hapo ndio sasa kuna shida. Kwa sababu ile mwaka wa 1992 tulikuwa tunalia ati rais hako na nguvu sana. Na sasa tunaona kwamba rais ameongezewa nguvu zaidi. Ati yeye ata appoint prime minister na yeye tena atafukuza. Yeye ata appoint deputy yake, yeye anafukuza. Yeye ata appoint cabinet, yeye atafukuza. Yeye ata appoint hata chief justice. Hiyo yote independence ya chief justice ya Judicial Service Commission, hiyo yote imepotea. Sasa kwa upande hizi zote tunaona hapo itakuwa ngumu sana kama itapita kama tumepiga yes kwa upande executive tutaumia. Tutaanza kulia ati serikali ya Moi imerudi. Na tutaki Kenya irudi kwa ile enzi ya Moi. Tunataka Kenya isonge vile sasa tuko sasa. Sasa tunaona kama wanafanya kazi nzuri kwa upande ya rais na deputy. Tunaona kama rais hawezi kufukuza deputy, lakini mzuri wafanye kazi mpaka wamalize tamu yao. Lakini mambo ya kuachia mamlaka rais, hapo ni ngumu katika mwananchi ya Kenya. Hapo ni ngumu sana. Hapo tunalia wale ambao walikaa chini, maexpert ambao walikaa chini wakitengeneza hiyo, warudi na warekebishe hapo. Rais mamlaka yake atoshane na waziri mkuu, wagawe katikati, kama ni 50 iwe 50-50. Na mambo ya 50-70 hatutaki. Sisi kama wananchi tumekubali kupiga yes, lakini tutapiga yes kama mahali yetu imetengenezwa. Mambo ya kodi tulisikia ati tutawachiwa loan, ati hatutalipa tax baada ya mwaka 4. Uwezi lipa tax kama hakuna mahali unafanya kazi. Hata saa zingine kuna wengine wasomi ni wale ambao hawajasoma ni wachache. Kwa sababu wenye wako kwa ma universities ni wachache, sio watu wote wako kwa ma university. Wakati sasa unawazungumza mambo ati hawa watu wanafaa sasa wawachiwe loan wasilipe baada ya mwaka 4, hii hakuna. Walete kazi kwanza. Ama walete pesa wananchi wenyewe waanze kujifanika. Waanze vile wanajua vile wanaweza tengeneza kazi, waanze kufanya kazi yao vilivyo. Ndio sasa hata kama umeniwachia mambo ya tax nisilipe, hiyo ni mzuri. Lakini kwa upande wetu kama wananchi tutaunga mkono kama itaguza upande wetu kama wananchi wa kawaida. Kama hawezi guza sisi hatuwezi piga yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Tricks, really quite powerful statements there from the chairman of Bunge la Wananchi Kondele branch, right? Kisumu County, delving into giving highlights on really what he thinks of some of the recommendations of the BBI report that is being launched today. Of course, we've had a fair share of criticism from various quarters and also an equally enormous support of the BBI report. So that is just but really a sneak peek into what the residents of Kisumu think of the BBI report and its recommendations as the country awaits the official launch today at the Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi. Back to you in studio.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin Ogutu, for that very interesting take from the people on the ground. We shall be taking a break. When we come back, we shall have more for you right here on Morning Express.
This is KTN News.